Friends of the Flyover is a voluntary organisation. We've come together to develop a project which is about a flyover in the Liverpool city centre. It's a multi-levelled site, so there's a ground floor, there's some walkways, pedestrian walkways, and then there's the carriageways. And we have an ambition to turn it into a park, a kind of safe and delightful walkway, and some spaces beneath it. Our plans for the site are quite complex. We're looking at turning it into primarily a community space, so a space for tourists and a space for residents in the city, people that work in the city as well. It includes green spaces, areas for performance, public art spaces, a visitor centre that would include education space, a cafe bar, an event space that you can hire. We're talking about people getting married on the flyover in the future, and spaces that local traders and independent retailers can work on.
So this came about during and after a visit to Rotterdam. There were citizen-led schemes happening within that city. They weren't meeting with opposition, they were meeting with great support. We thought while we were there, does this really happen back in our city? We didn't feel it did, but felt actually if we feel that that's the issue, then we're part of the problem. And so we came up with 5 provocations for the city being Liverpool. And one of those ideas happened to be the flyover. The idea of all of those, which we felt was potentially the most radical, that actually has been embraced the most.
After coming back from Rotterdam, we had our provocations published in a local independent journal. From that, a number of people started talking about it on Twitter, started asking questions about it, particularly about the flyover, so that was the one that kind of people picked up. We were invited to give a talk at a business networking event, and on the bottom of our slides it had our logo and our Twitter and our email, etc. Literally overnight, Twitter just exploded. And also that next morning we came back to an email from the Director of Planning at the City Council, inviting us into a meeting, inviting us to put a pre-planning application in, and to start engaging with officers in the city as well as councillors.
Now that it's gaining momentum, this project is being really shaped with the city, so the Friends of the Flyover is an ever-expanding group of people.
In conversation with council officers and elected members, what's actually happened is that it's become apparent that they can see how this might solve some other issues in the city they were trying to tackle. And so it's become a real partnership with the public sector and the citizens and the private sector partners that we're bringing on board, and third sector partners, trying to problem solve together. Everybody that you come across in every organisation, they're individuals, so on an individual basis they love this project, want their organisation or want their role to be able to support the project, but the truth is that can't always happen. You will see people kind of going, well, what can I do that's within the parameters of my role to assist or to not hinder, I guess. So you don't have to kind of be afraid of the position or the role that they have actually appeal to them in the same way that you appeal to the rest of your supporters, and halfway there.
We arrive at the table with skills, with expertise, with great ideas, but with pragmatism, and rather than the big kind of wads of cash capital, what this project has is a massive amount of social capital.
During our crowdfunding campaign, which was our first testing of community support, we went to individuals, but we also went to local and national businesses. So a lot of the smaller individual shops are really passionate about this. They see it as another project, another reason for people to kind of stay around the area, to dwell around the area, and for visitors to walk to that end of town. And so a number of them have donated to the crowdfunding campaign, but also very, very vehement supporters on promoting our events that we do. So they've got posters up, they'll tweet about us, they'll tell their mailing list about us, etc. And they're very publicly supportive. We had support from a couple of developers at quite significant amounts of money, who actually said quite clearly, we don't want to be your development partner, we would end up being the bad guys. But actually, we understand the value it will bring to our development, which is nearby. Having done our initial testing, which involved a lot of things around making sure the council were prepared to work with us, making sure the community wanted this to happen, finding all those strategic partners like universities and museums and health authority, etc. None of that's put us off yet, so we're now moving forward to kind of test the business plan side of it. We've got permission from the Mayor to close the flyover to traffic every Sunday. During our feasibility stage, what we did was we did 2 events as one-offs to test that people wanted to be up there, that actually being up there was a useful thing in the city and that gave you the views that we thought it would. And those 2 events were immensely successful socially, culturally, but also financially. And we did prove quite clearly and strongly that there's the opportunity for this project to bring income into the city. It's just something that people just feel very, very passionate about it. And I think the kind of no-brainer element of this is that it would cost more to knock it down than it would to deliver our proposal. But yeah, people just seem to think, why would you not do it?